Hello and welcome to today's episode. What's the difference between being shaped and being programmed? Let's start with defining what does being shaped and being programmed mean. To be to be shaped is to be influenced through relationship, experiences, environment, in basically, in a way, being shaped by life. And there is a certain amount of fluidity, organic evolution. It can be conscious, it can be unconscious, but it usually happens because we are in dialogue with something. So, shaping also implies movement and sort of like sculpting. Now, I'll get back into that a little bit later. Let's look at what is programming. Programming is implied input. Uh, it's fixed and it's intended to predict outcome. So it's mechanical in a way, it's intentional. Programming comes in different ways. Often it is done as well as received consciously or unconsciously. And it is often associated with systems with deep-seated beliefs or even survival responses. There is sort of a sense of autopilot. And I would say, from my experience and looking at the general public, usually it's parents, family members, teachers that program us. And then programming is not out of any bad intention, rather, it is very good intentioned. They want us to be prepared for life, to succeed in life. And how does programming happen? Repetition. We get told over and over what we have to do, how we have to do it. There's also a reward system. We get rewarded if we do the right things. And there is often, from the side of a child, an emotional program that we want to be loved by our parents. So we try to do what they tell us to do. Usually, there, if it's coming through social systems like movies, medias, there is an agenda. And the agenda in some way is, if I keep it broad, to be a good citizen according to the current form of government that is in place, according to the major religion that is practiced in that area. And the question that I have is, are we willing to question programming? And that really was made conscious for me by hearing Gabor Mate talking about the myth of normal. And what really brought it home for me is his statement, if competition would truly be normal, we might not exist anymore. Because if in the hunter-gatherer times early on, we would have been in competition with other people in our group, with other bands, would we still be alive? I mean, really consider that. And if you are in competition with others, who gathers more of the food that is needed? Who hunts better? Everybody needs to contribute, not to compete with each other. So, also looking at what is manipulation, because there's a lot of manipulation going on. And in a way, manipulation, the way I see it, is it's a not heavy-handed necessarily form of programming. I try to get you to do something that I want you to do. And if I manipulate you over and over again, like in gaslighting, for instance, you eventually come around and do it the way and behave in the way that I can predict. Gaslighting basically makes a person not trust themselves anymore. They go to the other to be told what is true and what is correct. And they trust that. So, in a way, that is almost a form of relationship. But it's not just an open relationship. It's a relationship where one side in the relationship has a definite agenda and is trying to enforce that agenda. Can we become aware of the ways we have been programmed? Yeah, we can choose to become aware. I have become aware because there is that autopilot thing that we have, that something happens and I do an automatic response. I don't even think about it, it's automatic. And I have certain thought patterns that keep coming up. And those thought patterns are a powerful sign that there is a program that is running. So when that program is running, how much do we truly have choice? Or do choices disappear? Because we are supposed to do that. It's that you should be doing. That is a program. The shooting is a definite program. And I have been wondering, being a mother, did I program my kids? And on some level, I'm pretty sure I did program them. And on another level, I also know that I probably did program them a lot less than I had been programmed, because there was a lot more allowance for them to deal with the situation that in the way that they felt it needed to be dealt with than me implying this is how you need to deal with a situation. There is no other way. It's that there is no other way. That is the program. Can we can we really get into that? Can we become aware of those things? Focusing on elderhood, even independently of age, are we willing, truly willing to become aware of our own programs? And are we willing to not program others by presenting them with a field? We're holding the field, but allow them to make the decisions and the choices that they choose. There is no script in a way, there is no agenda. As an elder, I model being in the world, but I don't expect to be copied. I know that the other is choosing whatever works for them, and I have to be open to that. So, doing full disclosure right now, this is about where the episode would have ended according to the original idea that I had about it. But I noticed being aware enough, being present with myself, that I didn't feel like a recording. I was finding excuses. And I thought, wait a second, what is going on here? And I decided to ask my AI, hey, what's going on here? I'm feeling da 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 da, and what could be the reason for it? And I got several options, presented with several options. Having talked about that we need, from what I call humanity 1.0, with greed and monoculture and competition, and we need to move to humanity 2.0 with caring, appreciation of diversity, allowance, and so on. I also tapped into that one of the options actually talked indirectly about moving from business 1.0, as business is done right now, to business 2.0. So, how many rules do we have in doing business? What if there are other ways to do business? And I am beginning to explore, what if business doesn't have to be transactional? What if I don't have to be predictable by doing my podcast on such a certain day of the week, every week, and at a certain time, so people know when to log in and when to visit? Does it really have to be? I don't know. I'm exploring that. And I realized that I wasn't talking about business in the context of shaping versus programming. How much am I shaping the way I do business? And how much do I allow myself to be programmed by the rules of this is how one does business? So I'm offering this as an additional perspective, and no, I do not have any answers. Those are questions that I am sitting with, that I'm exploring. And I would invite you to explore, how does program show up in your life? How does shaping show up in your life? Are you shaping yourself? Are you being shaped? And shaping has that fluidity, that ability to change. So, would you explore how this applies to your life? How this applies if you are an entrepreneur, how this applies to your business? And let me know in a comment what you find out. So until next time, the energy is right for a podcast episode. I'll say goodbye.